Hello, and welcome to episode 39 of the Music Community Podcast. This week we have a very special episode. We're going to talk about a lot of exciting things going on instead of having a guest. So definitely stay tuned for next week when we will have an amazing guest on.
Yes.
I am Stephanie, joined by my co-host DanDrumStone and Doc Bizzle. And how are y'all doing?
Good.
Doing great.
Santa's coming.
Don't you mean Dan Pneumonia Stone?
Yeah.
Ooh, Dan Sickstone.
Yes. Apologies in advance. I have my finger on the fader here. If I have to hack up death, I will do it in silence, hopefully. So if I sound terrible, I feel good. I just sound bad. But yeah, Steph was sick too. Doc, you've been pretty healthy, haven't you?
Man, I can't even remember because everything's in such a fast moving pace at this point. I don't know if I've been sick or I don't think I haven't had any major sick anytime lately. Yeah, so we're good, man.
Yeah.
I've just missed you guys. Between sick and all of us being busy, it's been quite a while since we've gotten back together, and so many big, exciting things have happened, especially for you two. One I know we want to get into with Stephanie, especially regarding rebrands in a little bit. But Dan DrumStone is more like Dan Partner Stone now, ladies and gentlemen. If you didn't hear about it,
it's exciting. Yeah,
Dan, I'm so proud of you, dude. So excited. If it were just quality of who you are and your broadcast, you'd have been partnered years ago before you even started streaming. But we all know that it's a challenge. There are some numbers we got to hit and things like that. Talk to us about it, man.
That I will say. So after TwitchCon, we talked the last podcast about like pushing for partnership and all that. And we've talked about this a lot on the podcast about like looking at numbers and not focusing on it, and or if you do focus on it, don't let it control you or kind of steer your content in any way. But I will say that the minute I started like with my community, I said, let's try it. I really wanted to do something for them. It was, give them emotes, and that was like a big pull for it. But once you start that, the stress level and the daily, like just looking at your numbers constantly. I never looked at numbers at like hardly ever. If I did, it would be just out of curiosity, like, the stream felt really good. It seemed really engaged, and I go back and look. But when I was caring about like actually getting partnership, I didn't want to let everyone down that was helping me, like the people that showed up and hosted and did all that stuff. That was insane to me, the support that I got. So it became this thing of like, I don't want to let these guys down. So I was constantly looking at it and daily just, a little fraction of a percentage makes a big difference, and like, I'm like, okay, I would, this sounds crazy, but I was probably like a mad scientist, it's like, okay, cause Twitch has these really cool tools in your dashboard on your channel. You can like do a certain date range or go back and look and figure out like the percentages of actual viewers and host stuff. And I was doing that like daily, and I'm like, okay, all that stuff. And then we unlocked it, the ability to apply. So we did, and then we kept pushing. And the wait after you apply, I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty sure I have like 1 million ulcers, or they're
No wonder you got sick, right? It's like you're right after you got partnered. It's like you like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but it seems like no huge coincidence that right after that massive push, which by the way, from an outsider's perspective, because, I wasn't there and fully engaged in your community, but from somebody who follows you on Twitter and sees that you're live and sees those figures and all that kind of stuff, it was very clear that went both ways, that you really wanted to give something to your community, but your community didn't want to let you down either.
Yeah, that's very true. They were awesome. Like, it was nuts. And I know, around a push, all this excitement does build up, and just mentally, that was part of the reason with the podcast. Like, I couldn't focus on like hardly anything else between family and that. It was like, you have to give it 100%. It's not something that just kind of like, oh, we'll just see what you know, like I had to be very engaged and diligent, and it was hard. That was the most I've streamed in a month since I was on Twitch too. I think it was like 80.
How many hours?
I think almost 80, which,
wow.
I mean, not for, you know, gaming streamers do that like all the time. That's not a big deal. But for me, I'm usually around, excuse me, 60 to 70, somewhere around there. But yeah, it was a lot of stuff. But when I filled out the application, like that night, you know, I was like, oh, okay, this is crazy. We applied, and I hit the send button, and like nothing happened. So I hit it again, and like nothing happened. And then I refreshed the page, and I hit it again, and then like this big like red letter thing popped up, like try again later, blah blah blah. And I was like,
oh no.
But then I couldn't. So then I like refreshed again, and then it went to like your application has been submitted. You know, like the little wizard lady, and I was like, I don't even know if they got it, but we did something. So that whole like, it took about a little over a week and a half, almost 2 weeks to find out. And that whole time I'm like, it was just, I never check email, like ever. Apologies to people who send me email, but come on, like no one uses email anymore, like nobody. But I actually turned on notifications for emails after we applied, and then we got the thing. So yeah, a big thank you to everybody that helped it. The nice thing about it is I feel like my community, we got some really cool stuff, some emotes. Seraphine did some awesome emotes for us, but now
really cool.
It's like this from the other side of people that are trying for partnership. And I know a couple of people have reached out, excuse me, since all this has gone on, that they're trying to. I will say that, you know, keep trying. And if you can get your community involved somehow, I know I was on the fence too. You know, it's like, do I just let it happen? Do I let it just be me, you know, like, and just kind of bury the burden on my own? But the truth is, you know, the people that are invested in us, they really do care. And I don't know, I learned a big lesson throughout this whole thing was, you know, you can't do it by yourself. Maybe you can, maybe, I don't know. Maybe you're like superhuman person, but it was a very big group effort, I think. And
it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
It's okay to let folks know this is a goal of mine and I could use the support, you know, and by being transparent, you gave them even more of a reason to be invested in you. Now it's not just your goal, it's their goal too. Yeah. And it was really cool for me to see. And I also wasn't sure you were going to go that way, because conversations, even I think on this past podcast, you seemed more like on team let it happen.
Exactly. You know, it was. It was.
But your numbers were right there on the cusp for a long time. Mm-hmm. You were getting that average where I think that they look for. Mm-hmm. But I feel like if I had been in your position where it was like right there at that average, you know, and it could go either way, I would have also vocalized it, you know, I would have also vocalized it and brought everybody in on it, because there was not much room for having a bad day, you know?
Oh yeah, no, it was, like I said, TwitchCon was like that last thing that I was really busy and going to be away from stream. So there's a lot of stuff like the on stream that I wanted to do, but I didn't want it to affect the numbers, you know, that we were trying to push. So a lot of it, and this is what I was saying, like anyone who is pushing or trying, like after the fact, even if you don't get it or you get it, but just that relief of like, okay, I feel like now I can go in a direction to where I can try new things, and you know, the numbers, I'm still going to worry about them, obviously, because I want the channel to do good and stuff. But it's this weird pressure is off my shoulders that I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. But I feel like if one day I want to just sit here and talk about ride cymbals for 8 hours and 5 people show up, I'm okay with that, you know, while the other thing was going on, I'm like, I don't know if I can do that, because then it'll hurt this push that everyone's kind of helping. And that was a big thing for me, is like, I didn't want to let the people down that were showing up and really helping. So yeah.
Yeah. It did look like I think during your push, you did step out of your comfort zone a little bit. Didn't you do some education streams and they still went well? I mean, I noticed your channel, you've been incorporating this whole other themed specific topics where, in the past in your channel, and a lot of times people might ask a question or make an observation and you're like, yeah, let me sit down and I'm going to dig deep into this because you've got, decades of experience and you're really eager to teach and share. Yeah. But I've noticed you're starting to incorporate these like very specific topics and I think that that's a really great way to do that. And so it's cool to see you dip your toes into different ways to format your channel and to see it still going well. It's just a testament that people are there for you and they're there for your knowledge and not just to be entertained by your drumming, but to be engaged in you and your content.
Yeah, thanks. No, yeah, we did it every Sunday mornings now. When I was in college, they used to have like every teacher had to have like an open counseling time per week where you could just go in and talk to them about, drumming or any kind of subject about drumming or music. And that's kind of what I wanted to do. So the first one, they've been really fun. Like it's probably the highlight of my week. One of them is just to like sit and talk to people and find out more about the people that watch, that are musicians, and make it more about them than about us sometimes. It's been really cool. But I didn't do it until after the partnership just because, I'm like, I want to do this. But on a Sunday morning at 10 a.m., I'm not drumming. I'm just sitting there with a mug talking about like hand technique, during the partnership push. I was like, I didn't want to risk it, it was, but having that sense to not like full creative. I mean, you can always do whatever you want, but to not have to worry about numbers so much it feels better. It feels a lot better.
And that's back, when I was pushing, was right at the edge and was getting close to being at the numbers where I could apply because I didn't apply until after the achievement thing came out. Well, I had applied before and got declined, but when I was getting ready to apply after the achievement thing came out, I did the same thing, Dan. I completely cut out game streams with my son, stuff that we did that was a lot of fun for my community, but I would only have 30 people show up for that instead of 70 or 80. And one person in particular that I talked to had a great suggestion, and they had already submitted it through proper channels to Twitch. For Twitch to consider removing the crazy outliers within your overall, stats. Like if you just happen to have a stream that you averaged 20 or 30 because you decided to do something fun for your community and focus on quality investment instead of quantity investment, that Twitch wouldn't let that bring your overall average down when they're considering partnership, and vice versa. It makes sense that if you all of a sudden get a 3,000 viewer raid from somebody, that they're not going to count that towards your 30-day average,
right?
Because of course it's going to take your number, through the roof. So, so take those off then. Let's just still look at the meat of what's going on here, so that you can keep doing things. And I agree with that. I definitely wish Twitch would do something like that, so that we wouldn't feel that pressure pre-partnership, to like for me, I remember telling my son, because he wanted to do another game stream, I said, son, we're not going to do another one until after I get partnership. And that may be 30 days, it may be 90 days. I said, but I've got to keep all my numbers up every single day. I can't take a chance on having low numbers. And I hated that. I hated having to tell him that,
Yeah. It reminded me of that feeling of like, trying to get into college or trying to, I don't know, like keep your grades up. And it was very stressful. I don't like adulting things, and that was very adulting in a sense.
This is supposed to be fun, guys.
Yeah, no, like obviously we take this very serious, and it is something that we do. But man, it was hard. It was very, very nerve-wracking. But
I was concerned for you, not that you would get declined, but that it was going to take a while to hear back, because I saw somebody post they posted someone's decline letter, and the decline letter actually said, thanks for applying, but we want to see you maintain the achievement numbers for 90 days.
Yes. Yeah. And
I was like, oh, so it's not 30 days, even though it says it is anymore.
Yeah. So is this a 3-month push?
So now it's like, okay, so unlock the button and keep going.
Someone at TwitchCon, I was talking to someone about that. So before I even did that, I went back and looked at my numbers from the summer, and they were, decent enough that I thought, with a decent push. So we did hit that, and I don't know if that was a big thing, but that was something I didn't want to apply until I knew we had hit that 90-day thing.
Yeah, it's great,
because I do think that that's a big something that they're looking at. Because when did they roll out it was last year, the Path to Partnership, right?
Right after TwitchCon, yeah.
Yeah, and think of how many, just the influx of viewers, and I don't know if there is a way to check stats of like new partners per year, and
they announced it at TwitchCon this year.
Grows up. Oh yeah.
It's one of their talking points.
It was something like 6,000 new partners, or 600 and something new partners, or something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Several thousand new affiliates since last year. I can't remember what the number was on partners, but they did. They shared it in the keynote.
Yeah, which is amazing. But it makes me, I think, as more people come into Twitch, I don't know. It could go either way. Maybe they're making it a little more difficult, or maybe they're gonna make it easier to get to it. I'm not sure.
I also wonder, sometimes these technical glitches happen, where I noticed for a couple creators who were pursuing partnership, Twitch, I forget exactly what happened, but it seemed like either their streaming software they were using or Twitch registered that they were streaming, even though they weren't actually online or really getting across, and it completely messed up their average. And in that kind of scenario, if I was in the middle of a push doing that, I would calculate the numbers without that myself.
Yeah.
And I probably in the application would draw attention to the fact there was a technical glitch and say, but not counting this, I was still reaching the numbers, hopefully there's a way they look at that stuff. I would hope that, folks could advocate for themselves, but I know that a lot of folks were getting very stressed out about that.
Yeah, I saw that happen. One of our friends, like all of Twitch died. Like it was like one of those things where every stream just went down for a couple of minutes, and it knocked this person's stream, offline. And she's like, "Well, I'll just go ahead and end the stream." But then in her dashboard, it showed that like she streamed for like 7 more hours with 0 viewers.
Yeah.
So she was killing it. She was like in the 80s, before the thing happened. It's like,
yeah.
If 80s is killing it, I think 80s is killing it for music stream. I think that's good numbers.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a big honor for me, because like there's some people in chat that work at Twitch that we all know and love, and it's just a really good group of people, and I don't know, it feels really nice. So thank you to my community again. That it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for them. Seriously, they're just the best.
Tell us about your celebration.
Yeah, that was quite. I was like, wow, you've arrived when this is happening.
No, you know what really sealed the deal was going into Steph's stream that night, and Steph shotgunned a beer for me. That was when it felt official. No, I wanted to do that for my birthday. It was something I've always wanted to do on stream. That like the Ron Swanson, Nick Offerman Yule log thing where he just sits there, and
but you actually had a tuxedo on.
Yeah.
A bow tie.
Yep.
A bow tie. What kind of whiskey? Probably your very best.
The Lagavulin.
Scotch.
The Lagavulin.
There we go. Yeah, sitting by a crackling fireplace, and not only was this a testament to you. I was entertained because the chat.
Yeah.
You were entertaining, but
fun.
I hung out there because there were so many great people chatting and talking, and that says a lot about your community.
Well,
when you are just housing a place for people to just be.
Yeah, that's what I kind of wanted. I don't know. I thought this is either going to be really cool or just be really dumb. But if I'm going to celebrate, honestly, like you guys know me, I'm not like a big like woo, a long time ago I was, but I'm old now and I like to just relax. So when good things happen, I just like to sit and think about them and just sit and relax. So I thought, I'd get dressed up and just hang out. And obviously we talked afterwards, but we did, an hour of no talking. And I read chat, I read it. It was really fun. It was just, for me, it was really fun to see the people that were there hanging out.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Congrats, man.
Seriously.
Dan, I noticed something on our overlay today that kind of could be a nice little segue to our next topic. It says Doc Bizzle, it says DanDrumStone, but it also says Random Girl Singing. Do we happen to have another tag?
That's right. Hold on.
Oh my goodness. Haven't we talked about the name change? Have we?
We've talked about, no, we haven't. We've talked about branding a little bit.
Didn't we?
Yeah. I'm happy to get into that. But so for those of you who might not know me very well, I did change my name on Twitch.
Did I spell it right?
Stephanie.
Just double checking, right?
I don't know. You guys tell me. I don't have it pulled up. I just have chat pulled up.
Her name is Steph Haney. Oh, I got a commercial.
There we go. No, but when did you officially change your name on Twitch?
Well, it sort of happened to me. I had emailed my account manager and said, I knew this name was available, and I was still on the fence about when we released the EP. What I want to release it under. But I knew that I wanted, I don't know, I was just ready to have a name that was more consistent with how people know me, and I'm still always struggling to know if it was the right thing to do. If I should keep it the same as other social handles for universal branding or this or that. But I had emailed and I said, okay, when I come out with the EP, this is, and it was more to just sort of let them know, this is the one that I'm pretty sure we're going to do. And then in the middle of my stream, all of a sudden people just stopped responding. And he had changed my name right there in the middle of my stream.
Yeah.
And it was, if I could go back and do it again, there's a lot of things that I would keep in mind. Now, don't get me wrong. I like my name.
Yeah.
And it is kind of cool and simple when I'm talking to people and they ask me what my handle is on Twitch to tell them that. But there's a lot of things that you want to keep in mind, and that I think that perhaps I would have done differently, or at least would encourage folks. And from talking to folks like Teevesbo, who is now Mike the Bard, from talking to other folks who have rebranded, and number one importance is to make sure you communicate this. And I was sort of at a disadvantage because I hadn't communicated it. I was going to do it leading up to the EP release and market it and do some front page time and all that kind of stuff. But it sort of didn't happen that way. So for me, it was a struggle to let people know after the fact. And it also, I felt bad, maybe they thought that I didn't value their input, that I just did it like that and didn't let them know. But communicating and being very clear about that is important. So after that, I changed my going live notification to be still random, still a girl, still singing, just to try to draw that connection. And I also kept it in my title for the first few streams, Random Girl Singing. Put it in my description on social media that I was formerly Random Girl Singing, and all that kind of stuff. So communication is very, very key.
Yeah.
Universal branding is definitely another thing to think about. I have a handle now that I love, Dead Stephanie, DED Stephanie. And now I've switched it over to all my socials. And part of me is thinking, in retrospect, had I not have that not just happen, if they hadn't just pulled the trigger like that, would I have wanted to change my Twitch handle? And do I want to change my Twitch handle to be the same thing as the rest of my internet footprint? That's another thing to think about for sure. You want a name that you feel happy with and that you feel, that you can grow into. Mm-hmm. I want to be on Twitch and I want to document my life for the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. And my mom gave me this name. This is my name. It seemed very easy, but at the same time, there's a lot of Stephanies. So I feel insecure. I wonder, well, which Stephanie, if people are trying to find me or whatever. And then I also feel concerned about, okay, I've had 20,000 people follow my journey over the past few years. are they going to know it's me? What if they look me up? What if they want to know it's me? So these are things that I think about in doing it. It's definitely risky to rebrand, especially after you've had growth, quick growth.
Yeah.
It's very risky to rebrand, but in the end, Mike the Bard said you kind of just have to rip off the Band-Aid and you just have to move forward with it. And right now, Stephanie works because I might have different projects that I want to do. I might want to do kids albums. I might want to do, professional work, consulting work. I might want to do a lot of things. So keeping it very general for when I'm just me seems fine with me. It was a free name, whatever. It's cool. But I still have those reservations and insecurities sometimes about like, was this the right thing to do?
Yeah. But I think that's also like a good way, you're planning it out and you're thinking about it. Like in a good way.
Yeah.
In a good
well,
way.
And it's also kind of a struggle, and it's interesting, and I'm just going to be real about it. It's really strange because it's very clear that some folks maybe have followed for a while but haven't visited or didn't remember. I had some folks, I remembered their names, and they came in and they would like compliment me or introduce themselves to me as if it was their first time ever being there. And they didn't remember that I was me. And it kind of dawned on me, I guess me from a couple of years ago might seem a lot different than me now.
Yeah.
The hair's different. The setup's different. Maybe I've grown as an artist or whatnot. But you have to be aware that people you're making another first impression. It is almost like another first impression. And I've also noticed, and I've tried to whittle down what it is, but numbers, you can't always figure out the motivation for numbers. But for the first time since I started streaming, I've begun losing followers during a broadcast. Mm-hmm. And that can be very discouraging because it really makes you evaluate yourself and kind of worry about it. But it's like with anything else with numbers that we talk about, you have to just remember that the important thing is who's still there. The important thing is who's coming. The important thing is who's supporting, and focus on those kinds of things because they could be unfollowing you for a number of reasons. You know what I mean? And it's between that, and I think this is a great segue to talk about Twitch Sings, which from doing Twitch Sings, the beta, I got a lot of feedback from my community that really the reason that they followed me in the first place, I think they're seeing something different in the channel, or it's just content that a lot of folks don't really want to see, because I get the most folks unfollowing my channel when I'm doing Twitch Sings.
Oh yeah.
But the thing is, I really love to do Twitch Sings. Not all the time. I wouldn't ever want to be like a Twitch Sings person, but that variety growth and that sort of making different content and not being dictated by the numbers, and you guys talking about all that stuff earlier, like that really hit home for me because, it can really make you think, oh, I shouldn't do this because people aren't going to like this. Okay, to some extent, you do have a responsibility to bring good content to the folks who have supported you and not completely yank the rug out from under them. At the same time, I do want supporters that are going to be there for me, even if I want to try a few different things,
Yeah, totally.
So I feel you guys on that.
Well, you have, you have 3 years of followers, right?
Yeah.
Now, 3 years is a long time. Think about this, a band that maybe you liked 3 years ago that maybe someone is just popping in your stream now after 2 years or maybe 3 years or even 1 year. And they're like, it was cool that one day that I hopped in. And I know it might make you sad if they unfollow, but that number is just that number. They're not engaged in what you're doing. I would say probably 90% of the people that follow all of us don't watch us. If you really think about it, if that was the case, if all those people that did follow us, even 20% of them every time you stream, our numbers would be nuts.
This is true.
So if the people that, are unfollowing or whatever, it's not that they're bad people. It's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's not that they're terrible or you're terrible or, stuff's changing. You're being you, Steph. Nothing's different. But what might be changing is just their taste in a streamer. I unfollow people, to be honest, because I just don't want to see them in my timeline when I'm looking for raids. It's nothing personal.
People do clean up. I do that too. I clean up my following list a lot when they're always at the top. Yeah. Like when they're always at the top of who I'm watching in Twitch, when you see everybody live and it's ordered by view count. Yeah. Sometimes I unfollow folks who are doing great, who I would still visit them and keep up with them, but they stream a lot or they're just always there, and so I don't see the folks below that little spot. So I do clean up mine as well, but I thought I'd share that insecurity because I know other folks probably deal with it.
Yeah, but that's...
I feel it. I'd settle for 2% of my follower account showing up to my streams at this point. I mean, honestly, it's, the dips and the peaks and valleys, the spikes and dips. It's like when you're in a dip, I did, and Tammy in the chat just said something about, I enjoyed lurking your stream with your son yesterday. I had so many people asking me, when are you going to stream with your son again? When are you going to stream with your son? And I'm like, well, we're doing it this Saturday, blah, 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 set the whole thing up. I've got over 8,500 followers, which is not humongous, but is not small, right? It's 8,555, I think, is where we ended yesterday. And I averaged 22 people for that stream yesterday with my son. I'm like, we didn't even get 0.5%. 1% of my follower account didn't show up.
Yeah.
300 or 200 and something actual subs. Even out of the subscribers, I didn't have 10%. My subscriber show. And I'm just like, wow. So it's like a kick in the gut. It's hard not to take it as a kick in the gut. The people that were there had a good time. We had a good time. I know that my regular crowd loves me, but holy cow, like I went through a lot of trouble and set this whole thing up, with my kid. And, it's hard to swallow.
But think of it from the musician standpoint, all the gigs that I know, Doc, you've performed a lot over the years, right?
Yeah.
And same here. Like, you can have one day where you're not doing anything different. You're still going to play the same song. You're still going to play the same. One day there might be a room full of people there to watch you. The next day you're in the same venue, same spot. There's, serving the same drinks. 5 people show up. There's a lot of factors that go into stuff. And
definitely.
It's like you said, playing for the people and enjoying the people that are there and showing up. That's the big thing.
Yeah, it doesn't make me want to quit. It just made me want to cry for a minute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's okay.
Because my son even, your kids are proud of you, man. When they get to a certain age, my kid knows what Twitch is. He knows what YouTube is. He knows, and he's like, Dad, you're a partner on Twitch. Like, when they did this dress up thing at school to dress up as somebody famous, he asked his teacher if he could dress up as me. He wanted to wear his Doc Bizzle sunglasses and stuff, the shades of inspiration. Because in his mind, it's this like really big deal, and he's going to stream with his dad. And then it's just like, oh man, buddy, I'm sorry. We had a fun time. But it's like, it was kind of, there wasn't a lot of people here. There wasn't a lot of chat going on, And anyway, so it doesn't make me want to quit. We got to figure out how to find the balance and sort of weather that. And there's no way I'm going to tell my son next time he wants to stream with me. Well, no, because we had low numbers last time. We're not doing that. No. Because I love doing that with him. I love hanging out with him and doing that stuff. So, anyway, but it's a thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not a life-altering, oh my gosh, everything's horrible thing, but it's a thing. It's still a thing.
Numbers and metrics and comparisons to either somebody else's or to your own. I think that can really get in your head if you're not really careful about it. Mm-hmm. And then time and time again, I get these moments of just being completely humbled, and it kind of brings me back to reality. But it is this cycle of the very real human reaction of, because objectively, 22 people hanging out for just a chill stream like that on Twitch, that's good. Mm-hmm. It objectively, I think like 20 people, if you visualize 22 people, that's good. But when you've seen it be higher, then it does get a little depressing. Sometimes you can get a little, you can get a little depressed. I'm sure everybody feels that. And like Tammy Black Media, hello, by the way, how she mentioned in the chat, this time of year too. the holidays and traveling. So if anybody's feeling sort of a viewership slump or anything like that, I think it's totally understandable, but it still is a normal, I think, human reaction.
The question is, because we've talked about this before, do you guys have the viewer count up when you stream? Like, do you look at that at all live?
No.
Mm-hmm.
I don't either.
Yesterday
it was crazy. Last night I didn't have it on at all. And though every once in a while I did refresh my follower account, because that's been the thing I've been fixated on, because I'm trying to figure out why this keeps happening. Plus followers have been like hard to come by lately. I feel like discoverability, and maybe it's because the music audience isn't growing as quickly as it once was, it's still thriving.
Yeah.
But there was a time, and when Twitch had like those auto follows during the onboarding process, was a time when it was not out of sight to see like 100 followers a stream. You know what I mean? When that kind of thing was bumping and grooving, and I was like, man, at the end of this month I'll have another 1,000. Like, you know what I mean? I was swimming in followers, and these days they're a little bit tougher to come by.
Yeah.
And so I refreshed the count and I kept seeing it go down, you guys. Like, I kept seeing it go down throughout. And, I only did it a couple times, but in my head, I didn't let it, I consciously took that moment to look at my chat and to see who was in there and to look at what I was doing.
Yeah.
And to realize, how things were going. And I was starting to raise funds to go to Europe for TwitchCon, and that was going so well. And I just it dawned on me, I'm like, I don't even care.
Yes.
I was like, this doesn't, if I was completely ignorant to this, I would be living the dream.
Yeah.
So who cares? And I had this moment, and then it's strange because an hour later, Kit Boga dropped a 2,000 plus viewer host on me.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
And the chat was moving so fast, and there were so many subs, bits, and tags in the chat that I couldn't even keep up, and it was this humbling experience. I've never checked my viewer count. I never do. After the fact, I'll ask my husband or my cousin who check in for me, like, oh, how did it go today? And they'll be like, oh, you were out this. And I'll be like, okay, cool. But I don't deep dive into that stuff because I know that it's going to make me crazy. But I went to, and then you know what I did? I did Twitch Sings for like the last hour or two. I did Twitch Sings because I didn't care. I really wanted to do Twitch Sings. I wanted to have fun. I was doing Ursula, Poor Unfortunate Souls, and getting into my, body language. I was just getting into it and having so much fun. And then in the end, and the chat was very, very slow toward the end. And I'm like, okay, well, this is just sort of fizzled out. And I'm okay with that. This has been a special night. Then I went to raid. And I had 300 people coming with me on a raid.
That's awesome.
Had no idea. Hours after that host, there were still 300 people just hanging out there,
awesome.
Like going along for the raid. And it like basically moved me to get kind of choked up, which is so cheesy. And I had been drinking wine, but it's those little moments that just remind you, don't fixate. It's going to it would have ruined my attitude, and it would have made me ungrateful for the folks who were there, which are the folks that are important, that matter. That's what matters.
Yeah, Tammy.
Absolutely.
Tammy
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
No.
I was going to read it.
Yes.
You read it.
No. It's far away. You could probably read it better than me.
I was just going to say, Tammy Black Media just posted in the chat, and this is a great, great, great tip, no matter where you are on the spectrum with viewer count. I think a nice thing to do is, if you feel that pang of low viewers, P-A-N-G, pang, of low viewers, use it as a chance to think about the people who are there, appreciate them, and get to know what's going on with them more, because you get that opportunity. Mm-hmm. It's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful advice, Tammy, and I totally agree. And that helps the emotional vibe too for me, because as soon as I start looking at me in the middle of it and going, "Oh no," I get insecure, and then I'm not fun to be around. Mm-hmm. Who wants to hang out with an insecure dude? But as soon as you flip it, you turn the switch, and you reach out, you look for a way to continue to reach out, get to know them. I think that's great advice.
Yeah,
really
keep you sane. Outside of the emotional, right? The emotional momentum side of things for you on an emotional level. there is also the business side of it, depending on where you are on the business scale with Twitch. Some people are doing it just to have fun and they happen to benefit from making some money. Some people are like, no, I really, you know what? I see some opportunity here. I want to make some money, not just through donations and bits, but there's money to be had as an influencer if you do it right. There's some of that pressure too with those low streams of, I got to keep my average up, my stats up, my metrics up, because I'm shopping for endorsements. I'm shopping for other partnerships. I'm shopping for ways to make money that won't put pressure on my viewers, where I can literally say, guys, I don't need your money. Just show up and have fun with me, right? Because we got this covered. Like, if you're just hanging out with me, we're covered. When you're shopping for that, you still have to have those high metrics, even if you've already gotten partnership. That partnership badge does not get you a free pass into any company to just automatically get endorsements or sponsored streams or any of that stuff. You got to be pushing them numbers, man.
Yeah, when does my partnership Ferrari get here? Rouse.
Let me know, and then tell me how you did it.
No, that's very true, Doc. It's very, very true. And like I, do this for a living, so it is, there is that pressure too, you have bills, you have family and people that rely on you. So the treating it that way too, when if you have a low month, it could be scary too. So
yeah, I could imagine it's very difficult because you would never want to put, I like to talk to my chat about what's going on in my life. It's almost like, because I document my life and because they're like my family, it's almost like if I can't talk to them about what's happening, it hasn't happened. It's important to me that I talk to them. So, but I wouldn't want to put that on them, so it's one of those things where streamers have to often kind of deal with it on our own or find solace in that other streamers are going through the same thing, because we don't want our viewers to feel that we're anything but grateful,
Yeah, because everybody goes through, whether you're a streamer, whether you're you're a road worker, you're a chef, whatever it is you do, everyone has hardships and has good and bad months. It's not just what we do, and understanding that it comes with the territory, and it's all not sunshine and rainbows. Even though it is pretty cool what we get to do.
It's amazing.
It's pretty, I feel really lucky and fortunate, but focusing on you and what you're doing and bringing the best you to the table is all you can do. That's all you can do. So if you focus on that, and I think you'll be good. I don't know.
Yeah. Steph, you mentioned something about discoverability and Twitch Sings and stuff like that. That's something that has come out in the last couple of months, the beta.
Yeah, you
that I think may open some opportunity, sort of not a Band-Aid, but a solution to some of the stuff we're talking about with maintaining an audience, being able to meet a new audience. I do want to say this real quick before we delve deep into Twitch Sings. One of the things that I see, again, it's a thing. It's not a bad thing. In fact, it's a beautiful thing, okay? But it's still a thing, is that we have had a lot of influx of extremely talented, wonderful new music streamers and broadcasters. Like, it's so awesome to see. But that rate of new streamers to brand new viewers from other categories or from outside of Twitch, like, we've had a lot more new streamers than we've had new viewers show up out of nowhere, right? Because it's happened kind of rapidly. So when you spread out your current sort of that loyal music community viewer, right? If you're a part of the music community and you're a viewer, you're probably a viewer in several channels. We all know each other because of that, right? Because there's this tightly knit group. But that community of viewers is not necessarily growing quicker. So when you take that and you spread it out over more streamers and new streamers that are the new flavor, the new restaurant in town, it can water down. If you've been around for a while, it can bring things down for a little bit. So there's that as well. That plays into some of the metric, and I realize that that's a thing. Again, it's not a bad thing, but it's a thing. However, segue, Twitch Sings not only is a fun thing that gives us licensed music we can sing along with, But what we're seeing is there are a lot of gaming communities and game streamers that are wanting to be a part of the beta, that are wanting to jump in on Twitch Sings. And because of that, the duet system and stuff is there in the game. They're meeting other music streamers. So we're starting to see some of this dovetail happen. Sorry, I kind of kept rambling and went on with it, Stephanie.
Like how I haven't done it yet. I've watched a couple streams do it, not a couple streams. You know what I mean?
The streamers. I know. Whenever I say a couple streams, I'm always, I have that too.
Anyway.
Shout out.
Yes. But it seems really cool. It's a game. It's not like I don't know. It's a game that Twitch developed, and you guys got to be part of the beta. You wanna?
It's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. It's addictive too. It definitely, I started doing it last night just to wind down, and they just added a lot of Disney songs. So you can imagine that this is just a lot of fun. And I've met some streamers that don't really do music, but they are in the duet system, or there's a lot of really cool content creators, and go figure, people like to sing and have fun with it. It can be, and what I like about the game is it could be kind of whatever you want it to be, especially they really are listening to the feedback about it. For instance, they have these challenges in there. So it is a game where you level up, there's pitch recognition, you earn points, and you earn stars and all this kind of stuff for good performances, for uploading videos, for meeting milestones. You have a little avatar, and all this, but there's also these silly challenges where they were just popping up in the middle of the song, and it'll be something like sing like a duck, or sing like a pirate. But sometimes that would happen in the middle of a very serious song, and it just, so people are like, yeah, maybe we should, be able to just select that. So now they listened, and they allow you to launch your own challenge instead of it just happening. And, they're listening to the feedback very seriously and giving tools based on that. There's a lot of folks who are just chomping at the bit to get this beta invite. And, anytime they post anything on Twitter from the Twitch Sings account, all of the comments are like, when can I have the invite? When can I get in there? Yeah. Just trust me. You're going to be a lot happier when you get an invite to a product that is good, that works, that is fun. This was not a lot of fun when it first came out. The latency and a lot of the other issues. I mean, it was still funnish, but it definitely had its problems. You're going to get a game that is truly enjoyable to play, based on the feedback of a lot of folks and different types of communities who have played it.
Yeah. David Cotton just made a great point, and I do hope it's something Twitch will consider doing, is getting and licensing, like you do from legit, other publishing companies, some Twitch streamer originals. We've got people like
Tammy,
Scene of Action, Tammy Black Media, The Luck. There's a lot of incredible musicians on Twitch that are singer-songwriters, including Stephanie, who have recorded their stuff, where if they were to allow that, and maybe even make whatever royalties are there from the license, I think would be wonderful. But it would introduce a lot of people to your music and allow us to sing along or sing a duet with you in your song. I think it would be super cool.
Yeah. Are there on Smule? I'm not sure, but I know that they're on some apps. I think you can upload your own things. So even if it was possible to upload your own thing, I know right now they're probably just focusing on making the gaming experience. They're folking.
Bunch of folkers.
I knew I couldn't get through that one. I knew that was not going to go unnoticed. But I know they're just focusing on a good experience right now, and they'll probably build. I'm addicted to it, though. It can go on forever because it is so fun.
Question, though. Do you, in your honest opinion, how is it affecting the music community in a sense? Do you guys think?
I don't know if it is.
No?
Because I don't, it's hard to say because it's not very big. There's not a lot of viewership. I have had a lot of folks discover me through, I guess some folks just discover me because they've been following Twitch Sings and they look in that category and then they might come over. It'll all do. I think personally, suspect it'll all come down to the tags. If people are using the singing tag in both categories and click on that to cross-pollinate over to music from Twitch Sings. Like if people were to see, ooh, singing, what does this mean? And then discover that there is a music category, I could see a good thing there. It would be kind of nice if those music and performance games, like when you play music and when you select music and performance category on Twitch, it automatically populates rhythm and music game as a tag. But all of those rhythm and music games like Rocksmith and all that kind of stuff doesn't get added into the overall viewer count in the music category. So really? It's not, it's Twitch Sings and Rocksmith. Those aren't making the views go up in music and performance, thus raising it to a higher category in Browse. However, they are automatically applying that tag, rhythm and music games, when you're in the music and performing arts. So I'm wondering how that shakes out. It'd be kind of nice if it helped out the other category and increased that cross-pollination, but I don't know. What do you guys think?
I've definitely met a lot of, or at least a good handful. I've only streamed Twitch Sings a couple times, but I've already just with that met a good handful of other streamers that I had not met before. Had viewers from other music streamers that I had not really connected with yet, but they were on Twitch Sings. Like some of their viewers would be in my channel, say, "Hey, do a duet with this person, do duet with that." And I'm like, okay, that kind of thing. So as far as it helping to strengthen connections, I think I've already seen that even just in the little bit that I've used it. And I think as it goes full blown, honestly, man, I think it's going to mean a lot for the music community. I think it's going to bring a lot of connection. Yeah,
I agree because of the tag system. Or even just, I think if you're watching a Twitch Sings thing, you know how if like Twitch now, pneumonia. You know how like they'll suggest like, oh, you watch this streamer streaming Fortnite or whatever. Check out this streamer doing Fortnite. I think it's going to have that thing based off the tags. They'll say like, oh, you watch Twitch Sings. Maybe you'll like, to watch this guy, Doc Bizzle, sing. He's not playing the game, but it could be. I think that's going to be a big thing. Hopefully that has a.
Well, yeah, I get suggestions for PUBG because I've watched people play Ring of Elysium, and they're both considered battle royale, player versus player. So I'll get suggestions for a game that I never have intentionally pulled up somebody playing PUBG, but I still get their suggestions just because it's similar to other games that I've watched.
Yeah. I think it's really neat. And the fact, like you said, Doc, like the licensing, what they have licensed, that's a huge step. I think that's really cool. And
that'd be awesome.
I don't know. Yeah. The streams that I've got to watch are really fun, not just because of what it is, but the people that maybe don't play an instrument very well, or the people who don't have a huge rig or some kind of crazy streaming setup can kind of hop in and have a decent sounding product. They don't have to. I think it's gonna let a lot of people experience the thrill of performing music on Twitch, like what we get to do, but make it more readily available to people. Yeah. And that's what I think is going to be really exciting, because there's a lot of viewers that I know that we have that maybe they just, they don't play guitar, they don't play piano, but they can sing, or they don't want to sing along to just some weird karaoke tracks. These are actually legit things, and there's viewer engagement, and I'm excited for the people that are genuinely excited to get their hands on it, that want to use it to kind of express themselves or just put themselves out there, because we take it for granted what we get to do daily. The fact that we could just log in and make music. I know for some people that's very hard because of where they live or their setups, or just a bunch of different factors. And I know a lot of people have interest in it and want to do it, and the fact that this is going to let more people be able to do that easilier. Is that a word? Yeah.
Easier.
More easily.
I just think it's gonna. I'm really excited to see the people who adopt it from the music community that maybe have just been viewers so far that are curious or they just want to be a part of something. I'm excited to see that, and I think that's going to help our community.
And they can sing with you is the special thing. Another special thing is, you know how cool it is that, one of my mods, Kayla, that I've known for a couple years, I've never heard her voice. Now, now she's got in on the beta invite through my community, and I see these faces for Fatty Show. I'm like, I've known Fatty Show the whole, all of these folks now who them, you recognize them from chat, they can sing with you, invite you to a duet or complete one of your duets. And it's very special way, I think, to also connect with your community, to sing with them.
Yeah. That Rouse Tower character's on there too.
Yeah.
Rouse is on there. Subtracticat. I don't know if you guys are familiar.
Yeah,
with
Subby,
him.
man.
Yeah, he's on there, and he does good.
Yeah.
Like he does a really good job on the songs.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like to see those kind of people that are always around and helping us and a part of what we do. I like to see it. I don't know.
More music is always a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As the conservative old fart, I do wish that they had the radio versions of some of the songs.
I think there needs to be a mature filter or a warning or something for some of the songs, either like, radio versions or explicit labeled on it, or a way to some sort of setting, because it can really get you out of nowhere.
Oh, like
when
a
you
radio edit, you mean?
Either a radio edit option or even
like
a mature, just a
5.
warning,
Maroon 5 has a couple songs on there. I've only ever heard the radio versions. Never realized the original was dropping the F-bomb and stuff because I just never heard that version. I only ever heard what was, edited for radio.
Mm-hmm.
So. But in Twitch Sings, it's the original.
Yeah, well, and there's some songs I really didn't remember or realize, like you said, or I didn't you kind of get through it, and it can lead to some very weird moments in your channel if it catches you off guard. So even if they had an option to filter out all the other stuff, if they're not going to get the radio, or when you select the song, give you the option. Explicit or radio version or something of that nature would be really, really helpful for those folks who are conscientious about keeping family friendly content.
Yeah. Those Disney songs. When does it officially launch for everybody? It's the first of the year, right? We don't know.
I don't know. If you've heard something I haven't. I'm not sure.
No, I thought I heard somewhere it was like the first of the year, but maybe that's just me not paying attention, because not that I'm not interested in Twitch things. The only, it's fun to watch, and I like I said, I like seeing the people that are getting to do it and are excited about it. But at TwitchCon, everyone's like, let's go do Twitch things, and I was like, I don't want to do I don't know. I like being behind something and hiding. That's my thing.
Well, that's the other thing I like about it is I enjoy it offline. I record all my duets offline with my avatar, and I don't have to, and it doesn't show up as published on my feed. That's another thing. I wish they would give an option to choose whether you want to publish it straight to your channel or just publish it within the game, because if you do complete a song and publish it, it automatically uploads it to your channel, and it can kind of clog up your channel with those recent Twitch Sings videos.
Oh, your highlights? It goes to highlights or something?
On mobile, it can be a little problematic because it can kind of, you can only, at least on mobile, I've noticed I can only access so many of the most recent things from the phone app. And so it's just it clogs, it just puts a lot of stuff on there. I don't necessarily want to publish everything that I sing on my channel, but I love playing the other day I'm in pajama pants, with no makeup on at night, and I can go on, and just have my avatar record, and I'm sitting here with a glass of wine, and I'm just laughing my butt off, having a wonderful time just recording these duets, and leaving them there. So it's fun for offline. It's fun for online. I think that they're doing a good job doing a little bit for everyone.
This is probably mean, but has there been a duet or anything that you've come across that you're like, oh my gosh, what is going on here?
Wait, your mic cut out.
Oh, sorry. Is there has there been an instance in the game where you just you're like, oh, I'll do a duet with this person, and you listen to it and you're like, oh my gosh, this is Like, is it all pretty talented people, or is there some?
Well, there's different skill levels. Yeah, there's different skill levels for sure. I'm more likely to not participate in a duet if the other person's microphone is way too quiet or way too loud, or the latency is so off that it's distracting. Though I'm more likely to kind of skip through that one if the quality is off than if their technical skills are not.
When you like upload it, can you put that like, look, I'm not that good?
No, it's if you upload it, all it does is just publish like Stephanie duet with Doc Bizzle, Hallelujah, or whatever,
Got it.
I'm just awful at mine suck. I'm awful at karaoke, man. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm all over the place. This isn't in the right key. I'm not a diva, but I think maybe there's part of me that's got a little diva in my bones, because I'm like, I want this in the right key. I want to know the song. I want to know every inflection that I can hit in this song, so that when I present it, it is pleasing to the heart and the ears.
Yeah, it's just a different style.
Can't do that with karaoke, man. It's like, hey,
yeah.
This is so yeah, that's me. I suck at karaoke, in case y'all were wondering. I
really love, though, that it also lets people showcase, like, for instance, I always wanted to be like a show, on I was in show choir and on Broadway. I wanted to be on Broadway, and I love doing, like, my voice excels when I do like the Disney princess stuff more, and so, but then here I am doing a lot of like acoustic singer songwriter stuff, very different style of singing, very different style of expression. Last night I've got all the, les poissons, and like all these funny Disney songs and very theatrical things you can do. So I think it's a great way to give people that outlet. You could do a serious song there. You could do not so serious song there. You can get really goofy with it.
And then Doc's like, can I get a little more reverb up here?
Yeah. The effect suites are not that great. The effects are a little funky. They need to be improved a little bit.
It's good to see you, Ben. Thanks for being here, man. Love you, dude. Guys, if you don't know Benjamin Pright, he's a freaking amazing vocalist. But yeah, I did Whip It. I want Stephanie. You gotta do a duet with me on Whip It by Devo. Crack that whip. Like, just get into it with me.
Well, it's also really weird because the duets usually they try to separate the parts so they're kind of equal. But somebody invited me to do Baby Got Back with them. And I was part 1 and they were part 2. And part 2 was literally like 5 words that were just like, oh, yeah. Like, just like a couple little things. And I had every single rap verse. And I was like, okay, this is a little bit off. And then another one was, do you want to build a snowman? They had made it so equal that it didn't make, Elsa wasn't just singing Elsa's part. I mean, that's an Anna song. That is an Anna song all the way, except for when Elsa just says, go away, Anna. That's literally Elsa's only line in the song, but they give part 2 person the other part. So it's like
they give a pity pass back and forth.
Yeah, they give you a pity verse, because Elsa doesn't really have anything in the duet. So, and then I think that they're using some weird closed captioning kind of like software to figure out what the lyrics are, because
some aren't right.
Well, instead of river, it said Rio, or, it said like some weird word in one of the songs. And then another one was,
or maybe that's
red
a
letter
thing. Maybe that's
it said red letter instead of gets better. It was every day is red letter. In A Whole New World, it said every moment red letter instead of every moment gets better. And the whole chat was like, gets better. I thought it was gets better. It was supposed to be this. So I mean, there's a little kinks. There's a few kinks, but hey, hilarious. That's why it's in the beta.
That's awesome. Yeah. I love when things aren't right. I love chat. I love when that happens. Like when they're, wait, what? Oh, it's kind of cool. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what happens. I think it's going to do some cool stuff for streamers. Who stream music and do it on it. It could bring like some new people and stuff. I think it's gonna be neat to your communities.
It'll be neat to see once it kind of blows up. I mean, it is interesting just the few larger streamers who have taken the time to do duets, yeah, I'm definitely going to sing with them. Like, heck yeah, I'm going to sing Skater Boy with Peach. You know what I mean? Like, why not? Like, it's very, very cool.
We need Twitch drum solos. Like,
well, it's funny too, because all these, like, there's a guitarist that's like, I wish that I could play guitar to this. And I saw Rousdower last night was like, gee, if only there was a game that was like this, but made specifically for guitar.
Oh, oh, Rouse. I love it.
So, hey guys, what's up with TwitchCon Europe? What's up with our Germany or Berlin or whatever they're calling it? And what is the difference between that and Twitch London? Is Twitch London just a massive meetup?
I think that's just I think that Twitch is actually, isn't there a Twitch office in London?
Yes.
So I feel like Twitch London has some official Twitch. I feel like doesn't Twitch London have some official Twitch presence, or is it a grassroots?
I think there's an official.
Rouse, do you happen to know? I mean, but it's not considered TwitchCon. It's just Twitch London. Am I right?
Yeah, there's a TwitchCon. The official TwitchCon is in Berlin in
April 13th, 14th. It's a 2-day event instead of a 3-day.
Okay.
And there's really not a lot of information except for just that it's happening, and it said City Cube. So I Googled that and, to try to find hotels.
Now, are tickets on sale yet?
No. There's a email sign up on the site. So if you want to learn more, there's an email sign up.
Yeah, gotcha.
So yeah, I'm not sure what to expect from this, especially because it's so quick after the last TwitchCon. And will there be another one in California the following October, or is this the TwitchCon for 2019? Is another thing I'm not clear about.
I'm just really excited that there will be another TwitchCon. I'm 99, like they would have said, I think, like, this is your TwitchCon for the year. I think they would have very much so said that. I think they're doing TwitchCon Europe as I'm very excited for a lot of my viewers, and I know a lot of you guys have a lot of European, the Twitch music. We have a big group of awesome people that are overseas that, TwitchCon is really far to come to California. So for them to be able to go to something like this, an experience like that atmosphere, I think is awesome. But I definitely think there's going to be two.
Yeah, confirmation in the chat. There will be a USA TwitchCon still. Yeah. But it's been said from the staff in the chat that the TwitchCon Europe is the big one. So, and I think it's special. I think it's about time. They have such a huge presence over there. I know my audience, I would never have gotten to be partnered on this platform if it weren't for the folks in Europe. It's a very expensive trip. It's a very expensive trip with all the accommodations and everything to fly overseas and all that. So it's very, I threw up a donation goal last night for it. I just decided that, hey, while I'm here and while there's the opportunity, it's less expensive and it makes more sense for me to go to them. And I want to meet them so badly. So I'm going to plan to go. I do hope that, I guess what I'm going to keep in mind, what I've learned from the last two TwitchCons, is that having a set, whether it's just like a dinner or an area where you go, okay, we're going to meet outside of this door or in this area at this time, it's going to be important to have a formal set time for me to meet people and let them know, because some people are too shy to come up to you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And otherwise, for time management, if you're floating like a breeze and everybody's coming up to you, every 5 minutes throughout TwitchCon, you can spend a whole day just stumbling into conversation after conversation. So this is what I'm going to be very conscious of, is I'm hoping that they'll arrange some sort of way for me to have a meet and greet segment. I know I'm not a huge streamer, but that would be helpful. And if they don't, I'm going to take it into my own hands and communicate it with my community so that we have that time together, especially if traveling that far.
Like a Twitch meetup or Twitch music meet and greet, I don't know, with certain streamers that are I don't know.
Yeah, even if you combined like a couple streamers that were, had overlapping communities or were in a similar category, like a big, like you said, that's a good idea. That would be a nice, that would be a nice other option, because boy, you can if you're not careful about that, all of your time can get away from you, and you'll miss out on panels, and you'll miss out on a lot of other friends' performances and other things that are going on, and hanging out at the expo center and networking, meeting people. It's a lot to pack in just a couple days.
Yeah. Or the big, the hot dogs. There's good hot dogs. You might miss out on those.
Oh, Rousdower said by big, he meant just, okay, earlier I misunderstood. It's not the big TwitchCon. He meant that it's an actual convention compared to the European Twitch-based activity that you hear about independently. Thank you for that clarification.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just excited for, like I said, a lot of my mods and really close people in my community are in that area. So for them to be able to get together and stuff, it makes me want to go, but it's like, you start adding in, all these conventions like PAX and, TwitchCons, and for me, like GuardianCon. It starts to add up. You're like,
and you have kids. Man, when you have kids and other stuff to do, that's a lot. I weighed on it for a long time, and then I looked up the cost and everything, and I was like, okay, so this is a big thing.
Yeah. And
I'm not going to travel by myself to a foreign country, so I need to factor in that too. At the same time, it's time. I'd rather do it now, and I'm going to get it done now. I'm going to do it. It's important to me. I really thought hard about it. So I'm going to make it happen. And then I think that this will be my last TwitchCon for a little bit. I'm not going to go to every single one.
Yeah.
I'd love to, but you have to pick.
Yeah. Yeah. Have to pick your favorites. So Europe.
You do.
You're the favorite. Take that, California.
Got to go where your people are, man. And just so happens my people are over there. So got to brush up on my Deutsch.
Yeah. I wish I could go for the same reason. I've been streaming mornings for almost 2 years, a year and 9 months, something like that. Mm-hmm. And the great majority, if I look at my stats, like the majority, it's probably 70%, I think, of my viewership is non-US, Yeah. I wish I could make a trip over, even if it's not for that. At some point, I would love to be able to go over to Europe and do a little tour of countries or something. Yeah. Visit some folks. It would be cool, but I don't know that that'll be happening as far as TwitchCon's concerned. But I feel that with you, Steph, for sure. What about you, Dan? Are you thinking about trying to go to that?
No, I mean, there's a part of me, I joked last night. We were watching Steph and we were talking about it, and I was like, "Do you want to go?" To my wife, and she's like, in a perfect world, yeah, like that sounds really awesome, like let's go. But at the same time, it's like practically thinking about it, so kids in school, we got other two younger ones, preschools, and Europe's a long way to go away from your kids. And it was like, if something happens, or we're If it were just me, I could go, but like that's like a long way to go, and I would love for her to be able to go too. So I don't know. Probably I'm going to say no, just because of all the other commitments next year that I have already kind of planned on last year. Like PAX, I wanted to get more involved in some of those, and like GuardianCon and all that. So to factor in something else, I am planning on TwitchCon next year. The wherever it is again, that's on my radar. But TwitchCon Europe kind of all of a sudden happened. It was like, oh wait, what?
I know.
Wait, where? What? So I think it was just a little too quick for me to make an educated decision, I guess.
He's like talking me out of it. Do you hear this? Like I'm hearing it and I'm like, man, he's right. I hate the fact that do I really want to bring my husband with me, and like leave them, it's not, but it's something where I have to weigh it. If he doesn't end up coming with me, I'm bringing somebody else with me because I can't, I need a buddy.
Yeah.
I need a travel buddy, especially somewhere all the way over there. Oh my goodness. I need a travel companion.
Yeah. The idea of it sounds really neat, and I would love to go over there and see everybody. That means a lot, but just right now it's hard, to get away. Yeah. I don't know. Yes. We'll see. You never know. Maybe, I don't know.
And I don't know where it is they're having it. It may be it may not be a big enough place. They may give preference first, like to Europeans that didn't get to go to TwitchCon US. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As well. That was why I was curious if tickets were on sale, if it was open, because I haven't really looked into it at all. But was just curious.
Yeah, I think the what do you call it? The biggest. I think they've learned a lot over the TwitchCons that they've had over the past couple of years. So I think it's going to be a pretty big to do. I know that they know they have a big audience over there, and Europe is pretty centralized. So to have all those countries, Berlin's like right in the middle. It seems like they've made that decision to have it there based on location and ease of just all people traveling and stuff. So I think it's going to be kind of a big deal. I don't know.
I think it will be. It's interesting 2 days instead of 3 days though. Yeah,
that could just be here in America. We tend to drag things out sometimes. Maybe over
either
there.
That or they want to give people the extra day to sightsee.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea.
3 days for a convention. I'm always gonna go for all the TwitchCon here, but 3 days is a long time.
Yeah.
If you, especially if you attend all 3 days, it's not like one day is going to be different than the other. Maybe there's something going on, but 3 days is a long time for a convention. So I think 2 for their first time over there. I think having it 2 days make it. I don't know. I'm excited to see what it is.
It'll be cool.
Yeah. It's gonna come
Luckily, the music community, even if you can't make it over to the official function, there's a lot of European-based music streamers that this past year in August had a music meetup in the Netherlands, and I think they're organizing another one.
That's awesome. Yeah.
The next summer. So definitely keep your ear to the floor about that kind of stuff. There's definitely some.
It did just kind of make me sad though when they announced it. I was like, aw, because then maybe now like a lot of the people that would come over for, and this is just me being selfish, that would come to TwitchCon in California, they're probably not going to come now because I'm like, so kind of made me sad in a way, But
yeah,
I totally understand. It's a long way. The world is a big place.
Mm-hmm.
I was just shelled by. Oh, Rouse just said I was just shelled by day 3 of TwitchCon.
Oh yeah. I can imagine the staff working those events and the people working in the expo centers and just talking nonstop and being under that constant stress of having to work.
Yeah.
I can imagine 3 days of constant energy. Like that's just tough.
We'll set up, and even for the exhibitors and all that stuff. It's 3 days is a long time for sure.
Yeah.
But do we have anything else that you guys want to kind of wrap it up? It's getting
dark here.
Close to dinner time. Close to dinner time at my time. But this is going to be kind of our new time, I think, on Sunday afternoons. We'll tweet it out this week. And yeah,
I think we're gonna on regular Sundays. Are we gonna shoot for like 1:30? I know today I had to be late because of a special rehearsal.
Yeah,
were we gonna shoot for 1:30? Would that work for you guys?
Yeah.
Oh, one other little thing that I wanted to quickly call out was, how there's the 1,000 Dreams Fund, and they recently did it's an organization that seeks to help women broadcasters and by giving them scholarships. And if you look at the top streamers raising funds for that, the number 1, 2, 3, and 4 highest grossing donations were from music communities. So special shout out to Lara6683, That Violin Chick, Tammy Black Media, and Megan Lenius. Though they made it, they were the top 4. And awesome. Our communities are often seem a lot smaller, but it just kind of goes to show what an impact and what a charitable group of folks are hanging out supporting these things.
Yeah. And speaking of the charity, the Saving Music Live thing is going on for another week, right?
I think that
So,
throughout the month of December, they were planning music on Fridays and Saturdays. Is that correct?
Yeah.
There
They
will be
reached-
some tomorrow too.
Yeah, I'm streaming tomorrow.
We'll have definitely check their schedule. Follow the Saving Music Live Twitter account, and all funds are going to benefit the Mr. Holland's Opus Foundation, which is helping keep music programs alive in schools by providing grants and instruments for the children. They reached their $10,000 goal. So they've been doing really, really well. Big shout out to Richie for everything she's done behind the scenes to organize that event and to keep pushing it forward and coordinating all the different streamer schedules. And then run her own stream as well. That's just an incredible amount of work. And I think that they have or are close to surpassing $50,000 total raised since the Saving Music Live channel and this entire initiative was started. $50K total towards this between a lot of different events that have gone on in the past year or so. So amazing, really cool. Thank you so much to those streamers who are involved in that, representing music on Twitch in that kind of way for really good causes. You just make everybody else look good when you do that, and you're doing the right thing. You're doing a good thing, and
that's a lot of trumpets. If you think
that's a lot of trumpets.
Seriously, though, if you really think about that, a year, right? It's been a year.
I think so.
Yeah, a year. That's nuts. GG's, everybody. That's amazing. That's a big deal. So
seriously, well done.
Yeah, we're ruining a lot of parents' days with their kids getting new instruments.
I know. Make sure we get them saxophones. But I was watching one of those videos and they were interviewing a kid and he had gotten a new trumpet and he said, "Oh, it's really cool because now I know what it's supposed to sound like when I do certain things, and it's like we take for granted when, he's like, oh, because if the valve's broken, then it just doesn't." And it's like, man, this kid loves music and he loves doing it so much that he's been showing up and playing trumpet on a trumpet with broken valves. And like, here he is with a new instrument, and it's a very, very big thing for these kids, keeping music in their lives, keeping music in their homes. Yeah. Definitely for their parents. We love doing that.
It makes you think though, right? Because then we have days where we're like, oh, this guitar won't stay in tune. Right? You don't realize how good we have it.
My tuner broke. I guess I won't play guitar today.
My keyboard goes out of tune all the time.
It's a big impact. It's a big impact. It's a good cause. And it's nice and it's great how that channel's been able to further the platform, not just by raising money for this program, which is a US based charity. And there are streamers internationally helping support music in our US based public schools. But during the Europe meetup this summer, they were raising money for Save the Children. Yep. So they're using it as a great platform to help a lot of folks across the world. And I'm just really, really proud to see all the streamers doing it. Really happy that I get to be a part of it too sometimes. So amazing.
Sure.
Right on.
Well, guys, have a good Christmas coming up. Santa's coming. Everyone be good.
Be careful.
Clean up. And thank you
leave
for
cookies.
Yeah. Please leave cookies. Santa likes
or
cookies.
Don't.
Guys, thank you for hanging out. We'll be back next Sunday, promise. Life seems simpler now and less crazy after this crazy year. But yeah, it'll be episode 40 next week, guys. Isn't that crazy?
Wow. Yeah. Crazy. We'll have to find a guest. I promised them a good guest.
Yeah.
So I promised them to stay tuned next week for a fantastic guest. So if anybody is interested or knows somebody who might make a good guest for this podcast, you are always welcome to reach out.
Please let us know. Like we're definitely gonna
open calls.
Be booking for January and all that stuff. So honestly, if there's some new streamers you want us to check out, or maybe people that you would like to hear on the podcast, let us know. But seriously, stop getting sick.
You guys stay healthy.
Yeah, you guys too. Love you guys a ton. We're gonna end the podcast here.